have been wanting to buy this book for almost 30 years. This book was released in conjunction with Batman Returns, and so that was shortly after I started collecting comics. But this prestige format book was just outside of my price range for the sake of a kid who was mowing lawns and cleaning bathrooms for a few spare pennies back in the day. And I chose to spend those not on one-shot prestige format books, but on monthly floppies, bang for the buck. But I had a chance to pick this book up at Christmas time from a local shop who was selling it for, I think, $2. And it's got some wear on it. It's a little weird, but that's fine. It was perfectly happy for me. So this is Penguin Triumphant, written, of course, by John Ostrander, art by Joe Staton and Bob Smith. And it is, man, everything I loved about post-crisis books. Now, in it, there are two elements. One are these stories that seem to be set in the Roaring Twenties or the late Victorian era, where the Penguin imagines himself as a gentleman thief a la Raffles, and Batman is the bumbling police detective and the whole business there with all of that. And then the other story is happening in the post-crisis DC universe, where Batman here and Tim Drake, Robin, are going about their business, and the Penguin reforms. Let me see if I can get that on the camera. Yeah, the Penguin reforms, right? And goes on about his business and tries to make his way into upper crust society. And so there's this game of one-sided game of wits that's going on where Batman is trying to figure out what the Penguin is up to, and the Penguin is trying to thwart Batman, but doesn't know that he's in the face of Batman because they're traveling the same social circles. Meanwhile, we're introduced to I can't remember her name right now, Bethany Wilcox, who is a high school acquaintance of Oswald's, who he had paid her to go to prom with him back in the day, and they have one thing in common. She's a 10 and he's a 4 or a 3, and the one thing they have in common is they both love money. And so they find each other after all these years, and she still loves money, and so she becomes his date in all of these fancy society soirees. So that's the story. Anyway, wackiness ensues, and this is like, it's great. It's a classic Penguin story. So much so that it's like a serious take on a Batman 66 Penguin story. And one of the things about Batman 66 was that it actually had all of the same energy and all of the same whimsy of Penguin stories from the comics. Penguin was probably one of the most faithfully adapted characters from the 66 series. And so that's one of the things that's just great about this, is it captures all of the same kind of tropes and ideas and feelings. Penguin is cutthroat and serious, not bloodthirsty, but definitely all business, and he gets, and it's great. It's great. I don't want to spoil the ending, but it's a wonderful ending. So this Penguin Triumphant, guys, if you have if you see this in a quarter bin, get yourself a copy. It is so much fun, and I highly recommend. It's classic storytelling, and it's an old comic, so it's hard not to be classic. But I'm telling you that John Ostrander knows how to make himself a funny book. So double thumbs up from Rhys. Make my thumbs both in the picture. Okay, that's the show. We're gonna call it. Thanks for checking us out, and yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say. Yeah, check us on Wednesdays. We're gonna be talking more comics. So bye.